Hey all, it's Dinosaur again. It's been a wild weekend for me. Just put up another video and I'm putting up another one here because I've actually been looking around for trying to do the interview, which is this film um, based from Sony, which caused the whole Sony hack, or supposedly called the whole Sony hack, and the cancellation of the film, thus causing very negative publicity. Um, from the synopsis, I understand is that, and this is directly from IMBD, I believe it is, the main movie website, is that basically these two guys, Rogan and the other guy, on that have a television show that Kim Jong actually likes, and they get in their idea that we're going to do an interview with him because he likes us. And the CIA catch up to them and said, no, 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 you're going to go kill him. Okay, now here's the thing. I've heard of the CIA sending plants, but really, if they wanted someone dead, there is the whole plot line's kind of a name there. And I'm talking about this, not, I haven't seen the film, but I have seen the very end of it, which is on the net. You can find it. You just got to look around a little bit, which supposedly is Kim Jong's death scene, where I think it was a tank round that went into the back of a helicopter, and then the helicopter blew up, and his face kind of burned. Totally did an Iron Man 3 Mandarin kind of thing, just and he died on that. So here's the thing. You're dealing with Sony Pictures. Now, I even tried to look up the script, and I came across something interesting about that. I didn't find the script, or at least any site was credible to have the script. But here's something I wanted to point out. First of all, I thought about another film that I didn't like, which is the other one, the How to Die in the Old West. And I didn't like it because they showed all the good scenes in the trailer, and really the only good scene that I enjoyed is when the one guy was getting high with the other Native Americans, and they're like, you wuss, and that was the only scene. The rest of it, and especially with them putting a flower in Liam Neeson's butt, that was just what? I mean, I really can't believe he allowed that. He must have gotten paid so much money to do that. But here's the thing on that. I thought about that film when I saw this film preview. Then I read the synopsis, but then I came across a script. And then, get this. The script was actually written based on a fictitious country, not North Korea. Then we go a little deeper into this. It turns out that reviewers have already reviewed the film. Rotten Tomatoes, for example, is one who's seen the film, and other reviewers have seen it, and a lot of them say it sucks. It's horrible. The jokes are like subpar. It's a joke. So then I did some thinking about this a little. This whole thing is made by Sony Motion Pictures or Sony Entertainment, which happens to be owned by Sony, which happens to be based in Japan. Now, anyone knows a little bit of history knows that Japan and North Korea have been kind of butting heads for years. They've gotten pretty much along with South Korea, but there's still a little friction, but not as bad as North Korea. So, here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a potential film, which when I finally see the review, or the film, which Lord knows when, and it's going to be leaked. I mean, a film like this, someone's going to find it and put it out because of that. Because what this film representative is the first act of cowardice with a terrorist threat with a film. Really? Did it? Here's what I'm thinking. I added up one and one. That's since Sony was based in Japan, and Japan as a country usually doesn't like North Korea. who's to say that someone on the executives told Sony Entertainment we're going to change this to that? Then a hack is placed where the executives are put all these embarrassing emails. But you know what? The interesting thing is the embarrassing emails were all people that were not exactly A-list, but not B-list, really. I mean, Angelina Jolie, I saw that picture with the co-chairman of Sony Entertainment. She looked like she was about to kill the bitch. I mean, to be honest. Anyone else saw that picture, she was like, like, get away from me, you blank, and so then I thought, and then there's all these other emails on how they're bad-mouthing all these other actors, and all the other actors start jumping on Sony. And then, here's the thing, and this is communications knowledge, a little quick lessons on communication. The hackers make a threat that any film theater that holds or displays these three films, this film, will be attacked. Well, almost within a day, I think it's Regal, Cine something, and there's a major third one, which make up about 75 to 80% of the movie theaters in America, said that they're not going to show it. Okay? And here. So then Sony sends out this message that says, we're not going to show the film. Now, what was wrong with that? Well, basically, the media all called Sony a coward, and these hackers are nobody. They're not like people like, I mean, they were making these 9/11. This is getting the most annoying part of this, is all these terrorist threats always threaten 9/11. The truth is 9/11, which probably, in my opinion, one of the most insanest things I've ever seen on television. That's for sure. On that, but it was one thing that someone found the weakness. They didn't brag about it. They waited for their opportunity, found the right day, and did it. And they had the balls to do it. Okay? When someone threatens you with these hacker groups, like these little computer guys here threatening you, something like that. I know Skyfall, they did this little scene where they shut off the gas or something and blew up a building in London. And I got news for you, it doesn't really work that way. It's not that simple as they made it out as the film, and these hacker guys probably don't have the same threats. Now, I've also said that I believe what happened in Colorado with the Batman thing with Dark Knight Rises was a plant, but that's a whole nother discussion. But here's the thing, is that now they have these hackers who said these threats. The theater said here, Sony just says, okay, we're canceling it. But then Sony's canceled. Now, here was an opportunity of Sony coming out to the public and saying, you know what? We want to show you this film. But the problem is 80% of the theaters won't carry it. And we are not going to display this film until we can get a decent number of carriers on that to show this film. We want... Now, I said they had this opportunity. Okay, but they didn't do that. What they did is they got the backlash. Then 2 days later, then they had the damage control PR people come in, probably shaking their heads like, I cannot believe you jackasses did this. And say, oh, we want people to see this movie, but we're worried about like X, Y, and Z. But here's the thing. This goes all back to, originally the script was a fictitious country. And then the reviews say it's bad. And then, if you go back, Japan and North Korea are not exactly the best of friends. You go a step further, since the reviews are bad and they didn't put a lot of money in, what could they do? Think about it for a moment. It's very likely that the decision was made that they changed it to North Korea, but it wasn't done at Sony Entertainment. It was done at Sony. Just Sony Entertainment would take the brunt. And now you got everyone interested in this film. Now you got everyone interested. And Sony's on the hot plate, because if they don't produce this film by the 25th then they will be labeled cowards, even though they really weren't, because 80% of the theaters wouldn't carry it on that. But they didn't present it that way, and the public didn't catch it that way. But here's the thing. Now, this might sound really conspiracy theory on that, but think about it. These companies are getting that smart and that global where it's becoming a real possibility. And on top of that, the dude that got to play Kim Jong in the film doesn't even look like him, really. So, I have a feeling this movie is probably very bad. And it's the jokes are dumb, and what they're doing is they only spent $10 million on it, probably 10, 20 million, and they're going to generate all this interest, and then they're going to make an absolute fortune off it. Probably 300 million on release day, whenever that is. Or if it doesn't hit the net already. See, that's the thing here. It probably hasn't hit the net yet, other than one scene, is because they didn't send out the actual reels to the theaters. They're still at Sony in the warehouse. So it's going to be harder to get that copy. And the hackers said they probably have a copy of it, but why would the hackers release it? They're guardians of peace, whatever on that. So here's the thing. Then later on, other news agencies report specifically that it could have been North Korea, but it also could have been China and Russia and Iran all involved in this. Then all of a sudden the FBI says it's North Korea. And then Obama goes on the air saying Sony didn't make the right decision. Really? Sony didn't make the right decision? Here's my dumb question. If you really feel that way, that Sony didn't make the right decision, why isn't it the heads of Sony haven't come down to LA or called them and told all the heads of Sony Entertainment they're fired for just their jackass emails, like making fun of other celebrities? This is their bread and butter. This is how they get paid. How dare you make fun of those people? That's like me holding a modeling contest and firing all the good-looking models. Or making fun of them in emails and then expecting they're going to come back to me. I mean, curiously, the only one that kind of stepped up was George Clooney saying, oh, no, I agree with what Sony. Gee, I wonder how much Sony paid them for that. And don't be surprised we don't hear from Daniel Craig on this, too. Because Sony, I believe, has got a piece of that James Bond thing going, too. So here's the thing. I'm actually starting to believe this whole thing is a plant to get people interested in the film, and it doesn't cost them a dime in revenue to do it. It just causes some controversy here. And they knew North Korea and their craziness would act that way. They planned it that way. Maybe not to the extent, but they planned it that way. Which really, I think it's ironically you spent $20 million on a film, you have this controversy, and you're not going to release the film. Whee! Whee! Sound familiar? Oh, there's another company really good at this, and that's Walt Disney Company, but that's a whole nother thing. But anyway, I haven't seen the film. When I see the film, I'll give a honest review on it. But I want people to think about this a little bit. Some people to think about this is I really think this film is probably not that good, and Sony's going out of their way to make sure they get maximum payoff on this film. So anyway, this is DinosaGustfInterReviewSortof, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye.